in an effort to feel like I'm actually doing something and somewhat procrastinate building the factory's growth. I hate Gleba. There is a shower curtain on my countertop. I have a cup of coffee. And I have 4.9 stacks, this big, of VHS tapes. We're going to see what's on them. Or, well, what's on them. I mean, I know what's on them already. But what I want to do is document the sleeves that are on these. And that is way too tight of a shot with all of those in there. So, yeah, that's much better. I'm going to take a look at all of these and see what we've got. So this is one of the most common ones. This is actually the most common one, with or without the Dynamicron branding on there. I'll grab the other one in a second. I would say 90% of them are these. And what I have done is pulled out all the ones that were not, recorded them first so that I can do this now, and then I will put these on display. That was out of frame. So I tried my best to get what is on the sleeve to be the actual tape. So this is, now this has a Maxell sticker on it. It says T120HG. This is a T120HGX. And it has a Maxell. It has that marking, and there is nothing else. So it's missing the X on HGX Gold. I, at some point, will learn what all of these mean, if it's on Wikipedia. If not, probably not. But I would say this one definitely got recorded over, because underneath it says CHOR something Cloverdale, which sucks because that means it was probably a local, very local TV station. It would have been a Cloverdale TV channel that got recorded over with The Night That Panicked America, Special Bulletin, Doctor Who, and Da Vinci's Inquest, Season 6, Episode 73. Which, Da Vinci's Inquest must be CBC. I say must be, but I'm fairly certain that means it was CBC. So that's probably still a local recording, but CHOR Cloverdale would have been a lot nicer to have. That was a little bit of a tangent. So this is what I mean about these. The difference here on these is a little bit of font and Dynamicron. I don't know what Dynamicron is. And I have one of these things that has the entire knowledge of the world stored on it. And all it wants to do is sell me used versions of these. So whatever. Whatever Dynamicron is, we don't know. It appears to have been lost to time. But for the most part, these are the same. One has Dynamicron and one doesn't. Apparently it has denser Vivimax magnetic particles and new DDL, which sure, there's frequency response at 4. There's a, wow, modulation noise spectrum peaks at 4 frequency megahertz. And this one offers 6 hours of runtime on EP or SLP on my Panasonic deck. They're both 246 meters. It's a tape formulation difference. And the Dynamicron is in the other one. So, well, the Dynamicron sticker is at least. I don't know if those are serial numbers or model numbers, but they are there. And I'll just, at the very least, put the Dynamicron one in that sleeve. Just because. Oh, actually, no, they both say it. I missed that. Well, I guess it doesn't matter now. But there's no marking on the tape itself. That's just black. And that is basically the same black. So you would think it would be like metal tape where you can see a difference, or chrome tape on cassettes, audio cassettes. But no, they passed up the marketing opportunity to have a different color tape, probably because they didn't want people doing that and opening them up to touch the tape. So, whatever. I will probably pull one of these out later and see. Or they could both not be Dynamicron. I'll compare some others later. So this is, it has a Dynamicron sticker. This one doesn't. Yeah, they both say T120 Sony, so I honestly don't know if there's a difference. Does this? Okay, see, this is a, oh, they both are. Oh, interesting. It's just not on the side. So then what about this one? So this one's not, this is the only one that's not Dynamicron. Yeah, okay. It's a branding term. It's whatever. It has blast processing. That's probably what it does. Dynamicron does what Nintendo don't. Unfortunately, this one also shows both sides of what I wanted to say. So this says Maxell T180, which is what this is. And so this, there's a Skynet joke there somewhere, and I blew it. Season 2 of Survivor, which is hilarious because I remember the first season of Survivor, and the second season I kind of stopped watching after that, mostly because I was, what, 10 when that started? Jeff Probst is still doing that. That looks exactly the same. But it does have a bow to it. I don't know if the camera will let you see. Yeah, there, kind of. It definitely is bowed inwards like that. It's like concave running this way. I would think that's because of the thinner tape. But this is a Maxell T180. It says it there, GX, and this is a GX silver. Nice. One. And this was 9 hours. So I started recording this when I went to sleep and woke up and it was still recording onto the capture computer. So you could, they made 9-hour tapes, and I guess you really wanted to record that much TV, which, I mean, this is basically a mixtape. It's just a bunch of stuff, one after the other, so you didn't have to rewind it or something, or God forbid there's something for 9 hours that was on TV. So this is the other thing where we get T120, no branding, and I just trust that this is what this is. This sleeve had a Sony tape in it, so I took it out and I replaced it with a T120 tape. I don't know if this was a Fuji, but one of the tapes I grabbed that was in one of those Sony ones didn't have any Sony branding, and I really, really doubt that through the whole collection I grabbed the two that needed to be switched. But this one's unbranded, it has no stickers, so I'm at least going to pretend it's a Fuji. This is another one. And again, it's, you know, the text is different, but not by much, and they both have little punch marks here. So if they are both Fujis, then I guess I got lucky and found a pair together. This one has Biradox. I would love a Biradox right now. But this is not paper. This is a plastic case. This is, I think, the only one I have that's not a paper sleeve. It's actually plastic. So that's Japanese quality for you. Fuji Photo Film Company Limited, Tokyo 106, made in Japan. The rest of these, like even the Sony, is Sony Corporation of America and Fuji Photo Film of Japan. So honestly, I would have been buying these. Polaroid, Tom Scholl's old company. Manufactured in Japan under the authority of, and then French, Polaroid Corporation USA. That's so weird. There's a slash, then it switches to French, and then it switches back to English. Then there's a slash, then it continues on in English. And then there's a slash, and then it goes back into French again. That's odd. But I love these. I love the stripe down them like that. Polaroid had some really cool packaging on this stuff. And so this is a T120 Sony with a Polaroid sticker on it. Another Polaroid sticker on it. But this is embossed on the thing. So it's definitely a Sony tape. But it's got the Polaroid sticker, so it's in there until I find something else out. Now this has a printing, again, similar to the one that might be a Fuji, just slightly different. And it has a different pattern, like a different grain, but not really. It's just a, a thing in there. It's just a different pattern on it. But other than that, there's no way, there's no Fuji branding on here at all. Actually, no, there's a Sony branding there. So this is also a Sony tape. Interesting. Yeah, so is this. Okay. All right, well, I was totally wrong. And that, see, that one says Sony there, but doesn't say Sony on there. Okay, well, today I learned something. And this, I really should look up where London Drugs is from. But this is, I would assume it's one of the things that was printed at the store. I don't know how that would work. Maybe like you brought in a tape and they remade onto another tape. Your one tape had a problem, they transfer it. Because I can't see London Drugs selling bootleg Friends, Single Guy, Seinfeld, Caroline, Sex in Hess, or Caroline in Hess City. Where did I get Sex in the City from? Anyway. Thief, his wife and her lover. Caroline in the City, the cook, the thief, etc. That's just a fun label, and that is apparently not a Sony tape, an unbranded tape. Neat. The knowledge of the world has come in handy again. London Drugs is based in Richmond. So, founded in 1945, serves Western Canada. Yeah, so this is definitely is a pretty local one. This came from London Drugs. So that's cool. It appears to be their own brand of tape. Neat. Not to be outdone, Western Classics was made for Western Family Foods, which was Save-On Foods, which would have been a competitor to London Drugs in the Lower Mainland. This tape is much heavier, I can tell you that much. Oh, made in Korea. Neat. So this really is a rival to a lot of the other tapes, not just from the store it came from. Does it look any different? No. I'm gonna have to look up Korean tape manufacturers to see who might have made this. It's 8630K T120. So these are cool because these are like not technology brands. These are just like grocery store brands. Both of these, Western Family and London Drugs being grocery store things. This says manufacturer license by JVC. So interesting. That's a JVC tape, which might make it the only JVC tape in here. Now, Memorex is like one of these things that you would get at, like, I guess Radio Shack or something as a blank. This has definitely a different bottom shell design. It has their own embossing, the Memorex embossing on it. And text printed so damn small that it is damn near impossible to read. It's a T120 tape. How much did you think you were going to put on it? And then the Maxell, like the Maxell T180, this was the T160, an 8-hour tape. And of course it's full of stuff. This was in SLP. And it does not have a Maxell, a Maxell thing on it. It has this awesomely late 70s looking video cassette sticker on it. It talks about how only one side of the video cassette can be removed, or can be used. Removal of safety tab will prevent accidental erasure. Write Protect notch is still definitely in there. But this is 2 more hours, and the T180 is 3 more hours. I have, of course, to a 120, which boldly states it's a 6-hour tape. Yeah, marketing sucked back then for these things too. I remember that much. And somehow we let them get away with the CD plus R, CD minus R crap. So like the first one we looked at, this is an HG T120 with Dynamicron. This is an awesome package. The bronze, the shiny bronze is just so cool. I can't show it off without the glare, but it looks really, this just looks cool. And this seems, oh, look at that. It's got gold embossing on it. Oh, man. I didn't even notice that the first time I recorded on this, or I captured this one. Mystery? Well, you've certainly got my attention. And it has the proper ESHG stickering on it. That is awesome. That is also not in frame. This seems like an early one before like any costs were cut. This is a Gen Xa. Like this thing is proud to be a Gen Xa cassette tape. This one is sealed, so I'm really going to hope that it's really what it is. and made in China for Intertan Canada Limited, Barrie, Canada. I'm going to say Barrie, Ontario, but it might be Alberta. Sony ED Max. No, that's not for me. A 6-hour sealed HGX gold and GX silver. And the rain apparently has decided to come sideways against the window. LG decided to throw their hat in the ring and make some LG tapes. Honestly, I didn't know LG was a thing back then. I didn't know about them until like 2010. And they made a TV that I bought and then made a display at Costco that absolutely blinds you when you walk in. So this is probably my least favorite tape. It says 1973, but I doubt this tape is from 1973. That's definitely a rerun because it also has House on it. And that House recording was like a new episode thing. I saw that when I was recording this one. This does not have any of their thing on it, and it has the same bottom shell design as some of the Sonys. So it could be this was just cranked out and rebranded, which makes sense. Assembled in USA, so it's definitely made in China. LG Electronics. It uses FT binder system. All right, magnetic oxide. Well, I would sure hope so, given that, you know, that's how tapes work. A Sanyo T12, high Guri video Cati, and the French. It sucks this one's in terrible shape because this is the only one of these that I have. But yeah, Sanyo, that'll be I would think Japanese, imported by Sanyo Canada. Doesn't have the little thing there. But other than that, no branding. This is not the world's worst Dark Side of the Moon ripoff, but Woolworths. So that's pretty damn old Vancouver, if this is a Woolworths VHS tape. And this is like as minimalist as it gets. Unfortunately, it has a TDK D120 in it. So this is not the Woolworths tape, which sucks. Okay, so it's a Woolworths sleeve with an RCA sticker, and it's a TDK tape. Made in Japan. Awesome. I love this. Like, this says 4 hours. So everyone else is, 8 hours, 6 hours. Woolworth does not care. Woolworths just says, here's a 4-hour tape. Record your shit. This is one of my favorite ones. I like this so much. Use the space to make a note of what's on the tape. So it probably didn't even come with tape stickers. Woolworths PLC guarantee that no matter how often during your lifetime you will use the tape, you will use this videotape, the picture will not deteriorate. Woolworths PLC will replace any Woolworths videotape that does not live up to this promise. Man, I would love to have the OG tape and go down to the Woolworths. What's left of it in Vancouver right now. Oh man, that is so cool. Woolworths PLC, Marylebone Road, London. Oh man, that is so cool. This is printed so poorly. Like this cassette just does not care. It's got misprintings. It's only 4 hours. It's got whatever this is supposed to be on it. It would be so funny if this was from the 70s and this came out like right after Dark Side. Sorry, The Dark Side of the Moon came out. You pedant, you know who you are for making me say that. This is another TDK tape. It's embossed with TDK, which has the little thing where it usually says Sony on the other ones. But well, this is later because they have SVHS tapes. So that's cool. T160. And it's got a T120. So I'm probably going to put that off to the side and try to find a T160 to swap into it. This is another really unique one. Now this is heavy. These Kodak ones are heavy. So this is really cool. I don't know. There's no Kodak mark, but it's so much, or there is, but it's so much heavier than the Sonys that you could almost tell that it's not the same. This is awesome. And this just sticks out so much. The very reflective gold and the embossing on here. And the little, this is the proof of purchase right here that you would take out. Kodak loved their mail-in crap, man. 343 State Street, Rochester, New York. Eastman Kodak Company. I could probably figure out how old this is just from the fact it says Eastman Kodak Company on it. Oh, made in Korea. Okay, so Kodak was making their stuff in Korea. Or at least this was being made in Korea. Stereo hi-fi cassettes, extra grade. I love all these things like enhanced video quality and supreme performance, and you're recording a 525 line signal off of like analog TV. Like this is pre-cable, right? Talks about like time shifting. Formulated for sports events. Like it's a cassette tape, man. Ah, it's just, it's awesome. These things are awesome. Here's another Fuji with beer docs. For Pete and Lou, Thanksgiving 92. Thanksgiving, Whitby, September, October 1992. 1 hour, 25 minutes. This might actually be a Fuji tape. This is definitely from my family. And it is Thanksgiving 1992. Then the first minute of, I think it's the first 2 minutes of this tape, one of my cousins gets put on a table and falls off and lands on the floor. So that was pretty hilarious to watch. The capture of that going on. More Da Vinci's Inquest. This is just, you know, it's a T120 tape, but I like the blue packaging on this one. This also doesn't say Maxell on it, and it doesn't have the Maxell word marked there, but it doesn't have any other branding on it, so I'm gonna guess it's probably this tape. It does have the spindles, or the spools, the reels in here look like the other Maxell tapes too, so that could be indicative that's actually what's in there. Sony ED, again, I don't have that, so that tape's not for me. Oh, this is a sealed one. So these will be, yeah, thrift store finds. This is definitely worth more than $2.99 for 3 of them. I would have grabbed these for like $1 each, or maybe like, I'm pretty sure this was 2 stuck together, so like another $1 each. The used, or the new Sonys, the first ones we looked at that are sitting there, you're going for like $39, $45 on eBay. They're actually selling for that. So like, I figure these are worth something. BCTV News Halifax. So this is another local recording. This is what I wanted when I went and got the bulk lot of these. So these are the Sony V series ones. Or the 5 series, I guess. These are like the BMWs of tapes. The Sony 5 series. I wonder if they were also overpriced. Definitely not German though, given that they're Sony. Oh, made in USA. Come on, Sony, you didn't even make these in Japan. This seems like an early one. Like a really early cassette. Just the very basic thing, like when they were trying to not admit that Betamax was going to fail, and they're still making VHS cassettes and players, like competing with themselves. Sony creating VHS players and tapes to compete with Sony Betamax, which I just find hilarious. Okay, so oh, look at that. So this has the London Video sticker on it. Made in Japan. So, I wonder if I can find the London Video one now. I bet you I can't pull it off the stack. It's in here. Yeah. So that said made by JVC in Japan. I don't remember finding if this was a Sony or not. But this has a TDK sticker on it. Okay, so it was a different one that was a TDK. Yeah, I don't know. The Super. This is also really heavy. Like this is a 120 and it's heavier than some of the 180s are. TDK Super Avalon 2-hour 4 video cassette. Yeah. 2 hours SLP, 4 hours LP. I guess it's not meant for SLP. I should try recording over this with something in SLP and see what it does. I'm sure it's perfectly fine, but it would be funny to do that and have it not work. Good, we're at 33 minutes of this crap. But this is the last shorter stack. So this is the Maxell. Same thing as the blue one that is somewhere, but green to denote that it's a 160. And it has a 160 in it, so. And it's got the Maxell reels on it. I'm going to call them that, I guess. This is cool. This sleeve. TDK, I don't know, man. They probably had the best ones. With the definitely not, what is that called? Trinitron. The definitely not Trinitron branding that they have on there. And again, this is a printed label, so this probably came from somewhere that would print these up for you. Which is neat. Super Alval high grade. Looks exactly the same as all the other tapes do. Yeah. That little thing is different and a bit lower. A Maxell 6-hour with different spindles, but no other branding on it. These are also kind of cool. High output black magnetite GX silver. Great for everyday recording. Black magnetite particles provide clearer, sharper pictures and brighter colors. Again, we would have been using these for recording over-the-air broadcasts, and like, depending on what lights our neighbors had on, it would screw up the broadcast. So like, we could get away with like just buying like the serious most garbage, like the Woolworths tape. It literally would not make a difference. And I really doubt that people were recording off cable, because cable just had tons of reruns, right? Like, if something was on Thursday, chances are it would be on again later in the week. And you could just record it or watch it then. BASF, I think this is the only BASF one. Imported by BASF Canada, which I didn't know was a thing. It's got the definitely not Polaroid spectrum on it. That was a jump cut. But this is a T130. So the 6.5 hour tape. It says 267 meters on it, and the T120s are 246 meters. So I don't know if they wanted to stand out, but that probably was not a good marketing decision, given that people would most likely think their VCR only works with T120s, and it would probably destroy a T130 tape because it doesn't know what to do with the extra 10 minutes because people are dumb. But this has BASF stickers on it, and it's a Sony T120. So that really sucks. I would love to find some 130. Actually, you know what I might do is just measure out the extra. I can't do the math on that, but I think it's 20. It's probably exactly 21. The extra 21 meters and splice it onto this myself to make this a T130 tape. Because that sucks. This is the only BASF sleeve, and it's the only one that would be a T130. And I can tell you for sure when I recorded this, I added extra time on the capture to get it up there without noticing that was that. Here's another TDK Super Avalon in a plastic. So this is another plastic case. Or no, it's not, but it's plastic coated cardboard. But it's a Scotch with TDK stickers on it. So this might be the only Scotch tape. Other than that, it's not noteworthy. Another Sanyo sleeve with a seemingly unbranded tape in it. So, not much to say there. Yeah. State-of-the-art picture resolution. Well, at least they're telling the truth there. 525 lines was state-of-the-art at one point. Until, what was it, 1993 when Japan switched to high definition. And this is a Sony V. This is the last one. A Sony 5 series T160, which is what this is. But other than that, it's not too remarkable. There's no, it's a black spine with no stickers. Oh, T160 VE. And that says, it doesn't say VE on it. Yeah, that is all of the VHS tapes, or the uniques that I own. So I'm going to try to put these on a shelf in some kind of ordered display because I think all of these look awesome. Some of them look like ass. Okay, I know I didn't look at the ED tapes because I made a joke about them, but they literally have what looks like TV static on the packaging. Like, that just seems like a not good idea. To put the signal that you don't want, like noise versus signal on it. I don't know, I just think it's funny that it's just got a bunch of fuzz And my VCR that I was recording from, when it detects fuzz, it will switch to this blue to not just like bombard you with static. But yeah, all of these are going to go on a shelf somewhere for display. And if I do that before I end up getting the editing on this one done, I'll just impose a picture over it right here. But for free, I say I did pretty good picking this collection up. If you're the guy who gave me these, thank you. I will be taking amazing care of them, and I will be putting them on display. And if anyone has one of these, or not one of these, I guess, you want to send me, let me know. It will go in the set. The set. For a Talking Hands channel doesn't really mean much, but I'll figure something out eventually. Thank you for watching. So in the most typical fashion, I forgot a couple more. So I'm throwing them on the end here. It's now the next day. And this one is very interesting. It's a Kodak T120 in a paper plastic kind of sleeve, but it has a President's Choice label on it, as if some of these couldn't get any more Canadian, with apparently Les Mis on it. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, it's got a made in Japan on it for this one. I can't remember if the other Kodak one was, but oh, interestingly, it's silver. The rest of these were totally black, and this one is definitely more gray silver than the other ones we looked at. This one is friggin' gross. It has a whole bunch of mold on it, so that's gonna be, I'm gonna try to clean that just because I can. I think I'm able to, but I'm keeping that one away from the rest of them and hoping that's the only one that's like that. So far it has been, of the first like 200 that I've looked at. But I had forgotten that for 25 cents I got Disney Princess Stories Volume 1. Now that's nothing too interesting, except for the fact that it comes on a blue cassette, which is not coming across properly on the camera. But it looks way better on the camera than it actually does. It's embossed as DP Stories, a gift from HRT. Yeah, so okay, so the shutter release, the cover release, I don't know what you call it, is black, but the entire rest of the plastic is blue, and it has the white reels. And it has a whatever that is. And some of the internal parts are blue. Anyway, they're black. Anyway, I could just sticker over this. I meant to find out what that barcode said, but it probably says 169 or 220, or maybe this. And then I have a blue cassette, which I think is kind of cool. I also have E.T., but I don't know where it is, and it would take me too long to find it, to put it in a video, but it is black with a green cover on the top. So I am always on the lookout for these. And then what else I'm going to do with this, if I sticker over it, is I'm going to take the reels out of a T180 and put them in here so that this becomes a 9-hour cassette. And then I'll actually record something interesting on that. Not that anyone's ever going to know, but also this is the right protect notch is just non-existent. It was never even cast with one. But it's very easy to just fill that in. You can just tape over it, and the VCR will think it's not right protected. Anyway, that's now the end of this.